Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the show has started, and we are on the air.
Oh, you actually did, too.
I actually did. Yeah, we are on the air, and Navi is gone.
Elsewhere.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight is our photo review episode for the theme Sharp Motion. Navi was demonstrating Sharp Motion there for us a second ago. I don't know if anybody caught that when we first started, but there's actually no viewers still, so I don't think anybody caught that, but it's okay. Hey, Navi.
Hey!
All right, so today we're talking about Sharp Motion, and the theme Sharp Motion originally came from you, Navi.
Mm-hmm.
And explain what you were thinking with Sharp Motion.
I was thinking of, those shots you see where you see there's either implied motion or you see a little bit of blur to show the motion, but the person or the object, I guess, is still sharp. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
I think most people got it because the photos that were submitted all sort of had that feeling.
Yeah, there's some really great shots submitted.
Yeah.
And, well, anyway, hi, Navi. Thank you for being on the show and for dancing for us at the beginning there. That was great.
What? That wasn't on the air?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was, actually. It was.
Don't lie.
Okay, and Gabriel, how you doing tonight? Long time no see.
I'm in a bit of a food coma right now, but
Yeah,
it's good to be here.
a pre-show sushi party.
Hi.
Did you make it? You okay?
Yeah, well, then I went to, pick up my car from the mechanic, and he's like, hey, have a beer. I'm like, I just had, 18 plates of sushi, so now I'm all bloated and everything. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to go to bed.
Oh, you're going to have a coma sleep attack right now. There it is. Gabe's gone. Okay. So, anything else happened this week for you guys? Any big news since last week? Navi?
I don't even know what we did last week.
Last week was a long time ago, it feels like.
It
But
does feel like that, doesn't it?
it really does. It really does.
I probably had strep throat or something.
We didn't have a show.
Last week we did.
No,
we
'cause
did.
you were sick.
Oh.
That's why. Yes.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody who's watching. And just as a reminder, if you're watching this after the fact, which doesn't do you much good if you're watching it live, but after the fact, click like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let the world know that we're doing this fun little show. We enjoy doing it. This is episode 132, so we've done a few of them. But we really hope that there's a benefit for watching each week. And this week's with our photo review, we're going to come up with some interesting ideas that we've thought of when we looked at your pictures, and, of course, pick our winner. And the winner of the photo challenge this week is going to get themselves a fantastic lens pen, lens, and tablet cleaner kit. Love these things. Always have different uses for them. Always, always, always. Oh, did you guys see this? Yay, it came in the mail.
Ooh.
A sensor cleaning kit. So, on day trips, we're going to actually be able to clean people's sensors while we're out doing our day trips. And that's all thanks to Lens Pen. So, thank you very much, guys. Great stuff.
Nice.
Handy dandy. Speaking of day trips, this coming Tuesday, the week yesterday, we have the fireworks session. Guys, if you haven't registered for this and you like fireworks but you don't know how to make photos of fireworks, please go to daytripperphoto.com. Register for the fireworks session. Sean and I were just going through the fireworks earlier tonight. I never had an idea what $1,500 worth of fireworks looked like, wholesale cost fireworks. My brain exploded. I mean, it was ridiculous. And it turns out we had a few less than we were supposed to. So today, I went back and I got even more. So we have a ridiculous amount of fireworks, guys. And this is going to be one of the best learning experiences you will ever have when it comes to making fireworks photos, because these things are timed for when you're ready to shoot. Everybody lined up. We explain the theory. We give all the photo essentials class. And as soon as that's all over, we have timed fireworks. So when we're ready to shoot, we launch them, we make our photo. Lots of cool stuff. I really hope people register for that. It's going to be a blast. We have a good group of people already booked, but we still have space for about 4 or 5 more, which is the maximum I really want to have. Gabriel and Navi will both be there. I come to find out today. So, awesome. Very cool. Lots of help from all kinds of people. Sean Johnson, of course, will be there. Nice smile. And yeah, it'll be a great time. And before that, there's a barbecue. How can you go wrong with a barbecue?
My wife will be there, or my son will be there, so you can get pictures of the most adorable kid in the world running around watching the fireworks. I mean, come on.
I can't go
It'll be
wrong.
great.
Speaking
Yeah.
of adorable people, Navi, will Devin be coming? There he is.
He's so cute.
Wednesday? It's Canada Day.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, so it's not actual Canada Day. So
No. This is the day before Canada Day, June
Oh.
30th. A day before, so on Canada Day, you can go make your own photos.
cool.
Yeah, very cool. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So, let's get to our photo review. It's about 9:38. I think we've all said what we had to say at the beginning. Thank you, LensPen, as always. And thank you, both of you, for being here. And also, thanks for picking that sushi place today. That was really tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And it was very close to home, which was a nice surprise. All right, who wants to do the screen share? Oh, look at that.
I'm on it.
Look at that.
Way ahead of you.
So fast. All right, cool. So we're going to start at the very beginning. This week's photo challenge was sharp motion, as we talked about it a few minutes ago. And sharp motion,
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Sharp motion is one of my favorite things. Photos with motion and sharpness in the same shot have always been something that's appealed to me. With my wrestling photos, I do a lot of zoom blur. I do a lot of flash with zoom blur to create sharpness and then motion. So this is something that I have a really strong taste for, and I really, really enjoy. If anybody out there is watching and has the same kind of passion for this kind of thing, and you have opinions and you'd like us to know what you're talking about, please join in by using the Q&A app. And to do that, if you don't know how to use the Q&A, I'm going to quickly go over it right now. If you hover your mouse over the window that we're in, just hover your mouse over that, you're going to see along the left side, there are going to be these icons that show up. And this, if you scroll down, one of them will say Q&A. Click on it. Along the right side of the window, you'll be able to type in whatever you want to say, including things like from Jennifer Newberry. She says, oh, and where's Dixie? She wants a Dixie cameo. It's all about Dixie. You don't watch the show for us anymore. It's all about Dixie. It's okay. She'll probably come in here and have to go to the bathroom sooner or later.
And then he'll light up a firework to get rid of the smell.
Oh, jeez. The house would explode. And then Jen says, will Gabe be doing any frolicking at the fireworks class, like the Fire on Ice class? She's only coming if there's frolicking.
There was frolicking at the sushi place today, man. There was always frolicking when I'm around.
What do you mean by frolicking at the sushi place? Is that how you...
I think you went to the washroom.
Oh, got it.
Oh, the things that happen while others are in the washroom. And,
What happens in the sushi place
how do you-
stays in the sushi place.
Actually, Jen has a very good question here. She goes, how do you know if your sensor needs cleaning? It's funny you asked that question. Last night at the Camera Club, when the picture shows, you can really see these little spots. And there's sometimes where if you look at a photo, especially in the sky areas and the brighter areas, there'll be these little dark spots. And they'll be in the same place on every point, or on every photo, I should say. So you can have 12 photos in a row. There'll be this little dark spot in the same place on every photo. That's the first way to know if you have spots. Now, there could be dust spots, there could be oil spots, and they have different looks. And when you've seen it enough, you pretty much can tell what's what. But yeah, if you got these little spots in your photos on every photo, then you have dust on your sensor. Now, on the other hand, if you can look through your viewfinder and see dirt, that means nothing. That's just stuff up in your roof prism. Probably has nothing to do with your sensor at all. So you could see dust or dirt in your viewfinder and have no impact in any way, shape, or form on your photo. However, eventually that can dislodge from in there, fall into your camera, get onto your sensor. So it's always a good idea to keep it clean all around. All right, there's the answer to that. Jen says also she thinks Brian needs to post a sharp motion photo of Dixie running or something, as an example. I could do that. I can actually do that. I've got some crazy pictures of her because she's crazy. And, yeah, I don't know what you're saying there, Robert. We can't. Jennifer took it over. Oh, we can't say anything because Jennifer took it over. Thank you, Jennifer, for taking it over. We need you to keep on asking questions. It helps the show. It helps the show. All right, so first, why don't we get to... Oh, I guess you want to see a sharp motion picture of Dixie. Do I have one handy? Let's see here. Dixie. I've got all kinds of pictures of that little cat. It'll take me forever to find them. So why don't we start off doing our photo review? And since you already have it up there, Navi, let's talk about Lori's photo. Gabriel, what do you think about Lori's photo here?
I like the photo. I like the way that it was captured with the long exposure and everything like that. It doesn't, with my pedantic brain, it doesn't 100% fit the sharp motion thing, but it's definitely got the motion down pat, and I like the ingenuity in getting it that way. It's a really cool effect. That's well taken and well edited.
It looks like a panning shot as well.
It looks like a pan with there's motion in the panning plus the vertical motion of the subject, which is really cool.
Yeah, like panning and long exposure, which has got to be very challenging.
For sure. I like the. Can you hit photo details, please, Navi? Awesome. So what is that? 0.3 second exposure?
0.5.
0.5. Yeah, it's hard to see. 0.5 seconds, so a half-second exposure. Must have been following along. And now you could tell as well, she knows what she's doing here. I mean, she closed the aperture right down. ISO, I can't read what the ISO says.
800.
800. So it's not too high, but it's not really low either. So it's that right choice so that you can get the slow enough shutter speed, and then just follow the motion around. And I would imagine the biker probably did a move. Is that two different people? No.
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 Yeah. Did a move, and I love how blurred the background is. It's a nice shot.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's a hard shot to capture, and it's well done. And it looks like there was some color balance and stuff added to it after and stuff like that, which was well done as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Natalie?
No, I think it's like I said, I like the photo because it was both a pan motion and you have the vertical motion of the, I guess, a slow shutter, the person moving it, but it's still smooth, you know.
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, very cool. All right, well, let's move along. I can't seem to find a Dixie sharp motion photo. Most of the pictures I have is like her sleeping, so there's not much motion involved. Anyway, I'm just saying. All right, Julie's photo. Now, Julie and Jody each posted a photo with the milk. It's really cool stuff. And, you drop something into the milk, you have very high-speed flash to stop the little droplets of milk all over the place. I love the contrast that she got with this, though, having all black in the background with the white milk in front.
Yes.
You can see every little bit, even the little bits on the ground and dripping down the side of the stem of the glass. Definitely sharp motion in this. You can see the motion of the milk moving. It's all very sharp and clear.
Yeah, because I don't think for motion it necessarily has to be blurry, right? You just have to get the sense of motion, or it's implied motion. So in this case, everything looks pretty sharp, but obviously there are things in motion here.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. Whoops, I'm sorry. It's a dog.
That's
what happens when after you have a tall glass of spiked milk, you end up sleeping like that.
How come that happens, actually? I mean, she submitted this photo for our challenge, but it's in a thread of other photos that we can just scroll through.
Maybe it's her personal collection? I don't know.
Did she link to the thing, or is that how that would have happened, Gabriel? Or is it just when you post, it just has like a regular joined folder? Because
it depends where Navi is. Is she in the theme, or did she go by the hashtag?
I'm in the group contest or weekly photo challenge.
That's a good question then. Yeah, because they're all her photos, so it's just when you click on that, then it's scrolling through her other photos.
Well, it's a great shot. I think the clarity is great. The contrast is great. The theme is great, and it's obviously something that you have to work for.
I'd like to know how many attempts she did and what her lighting was.
Yes.
Yeah. And for these kind of shots, I always am curious of what the setup shot looks like and how much of a mess was made.
Did she say anywhere at the beginning on the page about her lighting?
I don't think so.
So Julie.
So I think I saw
Julie
him.
is a
Maybe it was on
flashlight.
Jody's post. They talked about lighting some.
Oh.
She was laying on my sofa in the family room. Oh no, sorry, I'm on the dog shot. Sorry.
Get past the
I'm
dog
like,
photo.
why are you laying on a sofa to take that picture? Um,
It's an interesting setup.
no, there's no mention of that.
You do this, Julie. Okay, so here she says, in the post under Jody's photo, she says, these are a lot of fun to do. Be prepared for the mess, of course, right? It's a lot of time catching the splash. There's a lot of timing and catching the splash. She used 2 flashes on either end,
Okay.
and Jody used a different setup. And she says the settings will vary based on the ambient lighting you have in your room. So the more lighting you have in the room, the more blur I would imagine you would get. And the less lighting you have, the more sharpness you would get, because the ambient light during a slow shutter would show up as a longer trail, right? And then you adjust the flash accordingly along with the aperture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You could also do a high-speed sync if you wanted to get a faster shutter.
You could do that too.
As long as your lights
Great photo.
If
I always
your
like seeing Julie's.
if your wireless flashes can communicate with that.
Yes, and if it can be powerful enough to... Well, I guess you're shooting pretty close, so it shouldn't be a problem, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
One thing I would say with these, just quickly, and something I got from the whiskey shots that I did, with shots like this, one good tip is if you're dropping a cookie or an ice cube or something in, drop it on one of the sides on a bit of an angle, and that'll create a nice sort of sideways splash on this, like a swoosh. And the other thing, like this one I like, it looks kind of like a dress or something like that. And you see those photos coming out now where, entire superheroes dressed up in nothing but milk splashes, so kind of some neat work going on with that. But I would also say with the splash, I would say that less is more. So if you look on the left, you've got that big droplet that's sort of in the shade, right? It's not catching a lot of the flash, so it's a little bit darker.
That's
No, up. Yeah, that one right there.
It's almost, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of small ones, and I think that if you clear out like about 70% of the splash, and on the other side there's some ones that are darker as well, and it'll make the ones that are there pop out a little bit more, and not sort of get lost in the noise as much. I'm not saying that is the way to go, but I would recommend try, go into Lightroom, create a virtual copy, and try a version where you move out, you get rid of all the droplets except for the ones that are really white and really sharp and really noticeable, and then see how you like that.
That's a good tip. Very good tip.
cool.
And let's, unless you have anything else to add, Nappy?
Nope.
Okay, let's check out Jody's version.
I love
It's
how much
interesting.
detail there is here
Yeah.
Mm.
in the
Now,
motion.
do you catch the red gel? She says she also used a flash with a red gel to create the background color.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah.
I thought maybe it was done in post-production. I didn't see that note. But
Yeah.
there.
So she used 2 flashes for this one for the background and one in a small softbox to capture the milk splash.
Nice.
And the major difference is the difference between the ground being white and the back being black. And she gave a different dynamic as well. I know that Julie used a strawberry to drop into the milk.
Hmm.
And having the graham crackers, a lot of the comments went back to the face of the graham cracker, or the cracker got broken, and it lent something different to the story, I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just it's a difference of, adds a conversation piece to the image, right?
Well, it's also, different drinks have different environments, right? When I think milk, I think warm and cozy and happy, and that when I don't think, like, with the black background, right? I think more, with the black background and that kind of cup, I think more alcohol based, right?
Like a margarita kind of cup.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you're using like a strawberry, right? You have to maybe throw a little umbrella in there and give the in the glass and give the feeling that it's I don't know what kind of alcoholic drink, maybe it's a Kahlua or something like that, right? But it doesn't with the black background, it's wonderfully shot, wonderfully captured. I like the shot, but the black background doesn't really go with milk.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sorry?
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, because I think having the black background really gives you the contrast, right? Because I mean, you can't do it on white. You know what I mean? So I think I prefer the darker background because it gives you more of that pop and that contrast and that crispness of this splashy milk.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, you certainly notice it more at the bottom. I mean, you can see in Jody's shot how there is milk coming down the glass and on the ground as well, but with the white bottom, you can't really get that, right? As much.
Right.
So I can see that's why the black would be interesting as well. I like the fact that each took a different turn to it. It gives us a lot to talk about, and it gives the viewers a lot to learn from as well, whoever is seeing all of this too. In fact, Jennifer says she disagrees too. She likes the contrast of the black background. To her, milk, and it reminds her of milk and cookies, so Oreos might have been it as well. Actually, Oreos is a good idea because they're black, and you have that extra dynamic, right?
Yeah.
And again, I certainly don't want anybody to think that we're saying do it again, do it different, because it's not like we're showing the photo. It's not like this is pictures that we made and said, hey, we could do that too. It's a really neat take on the theme, and I really do appreciate the effort because these aren't easy shots to do. They're not. It's messy. It's a real commitment of an evening to set up your lighting and get the milk and clean it all up, and and it's a real crying shame that you have to kill some graham cracker people here. I'd eat those. I'd eat that. That'd be tasty. But anyway, it's fun.
And like I always say, if you agree with my critiques, you're right. If you disagree with my critiques, you're right. It's all it's just how my personal head sees it, and I love that Navi sees it differently and likes the contrast.
Mm-hmm. And if nothing else, it's good conversation.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. Cool. Thank you as well, Jody, for submitting, and let's check out the next photo. Andrew. Now, Andrew and I have talked, and he does a lot of this shooting at ball games and things like that. He helps out quite a bit with the whole league and so on, and it's really great that you're submitting the shots. Thank you very much. My only thought for something like this is, to me, it looks like the guy in the background is in focus more than the pitcher, and that's a bit of an issue when we're using the pitcher to show the motion. You know what I mean? Unless the guy in the background was stealing base, and you saw him taking off with the tuft of dirt coming off his cleats or something. But to me, the story that's trying to be told here is the pitcher. And I like the fact that he has the little bit of space behind for the pitcher to lean back and make that throw. Although I think it might have worked better as a landscape photo to show that stretch of the motion coming from that rather than a vertical portrait type photo here. I think that the portrait type composition would work better if you're taking pictures of trees and things like that, or buildings. But I think here what we're getting is a ball going from a pitcher's hand to a hitter's bat, and there's none of that in the front of the pitcher. Anything else to add, guys?
No, that's a pretty good assessment, because you're trying to lead the viewer's eye, right? Because there's no actual, I guess, physical motion in this picture, so you're trying to imply that with where this ball is going to go. And I agree with you, Brown, with the vertical versus landscape, because in this shot, I'm looking at this pole.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my eye kind of goes to, from the ball to this pole, because I want to see what's up here.
Because of the composition, exactly.
Yeah, because if it was horizontal, it would be kind of just cut off there, but we would see what's going to happen next,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Anything to add, Gabe? Oh, sorry, Navi.
It's also pretty noisy, like grainy.
You can kind of understand that, especially at ball games when it's just about to, the lights haven't turned on yet. if they have lights and it's starting to get dark and you need a fast shutter speed, you got to crank up that ISO. I mean, there's no other way around it. Andrew was using his Pentax KM, and I'm proud to say that Andrew is expecting a new camera. But I'll let him break all that news what he ends up with. It's exciting for me. He's been talking about it for a very long time, and he's finally waiting for it to arrive. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with the new stuff. No, it's true. I mean, the older cameras, unfortunately, when their ISO got up to this level, would break apart quite a bit, and I think that's what you're seeing. And with the newer camera, a newer sensor, better light gathering capabilities, better focusing, it could change how you shoot this kind of thing, especially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like on my XTI, I wouldn't go over ISO 400. On my 5D Mark III, I rarely shoot below ISO 3200.
Mm-hmm.
I've never shot a baseball game, so I don't know what kind of shutter speeds you need to be shooting at. But is 1500 necessary, or?
It's not completely necessary. 1500th of a second would stop a bird flight. A bird in flight, mostly. So technically, you could probably get away with between 2/50th of a second to 1,000th of a second to get something really interesting.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you're trying to make sure that you're getting that sharp photo, you're better to have a faster shutter speed than a slower shutter speed.
Okay.
Right? It could also be how he was shooting. If he was shooting on, say, aperture priority, where he just kept his ISO at X and his aperture at Y, then the shutter speed could bounce much faster too, right? But no, either way, I mean, Jennifer makes the point that it would have looked cool if he zoomed in on the shoe where the dirt is flying, right? So that might emphasize a bit of motion a little in a different way. Although it would have to be a very interesting composition for the picture of the shoe to be interesting.
On that
note. So thanks anyway, Andrew. Thank you very much for submitting that. Charity has another ball shot. Now this is an interesting twist to it. You can see that Charity's done some vignette around the edge and added a nice little edit technique to it, which is great, but the story is there, and to me, just his hand rolling off the ball before he throws it, he's setting up, he's in the moment, and he's just kind of playing with the ball, and you can see that motion. I really like that. But again, I think compositionally, dead center is
deadly.
That's what they say. Sometimes it works when there's pattern or symmetry, but that's not really what's happening here. So to me, and it kind of goes back to what Andrew had in his photo, if you had the ball player more toward the right side of the shot and him looking toward the left, then that would imply motion on its own. Anything else to add, guys?
No.
Gabriel?
Cosign. Cosign your comments. I cosign your comments.
Oh.
I'm
gonna crop out this person over here. Is that Arnold?
Oh yeah, I just noticed that.
And in fact, if you were to change the crop and crop it right at that fence post in front of that person, yeah, even right there, that would change quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, you've got the shoes, you've got the ball, you've got the glove, and you've got the eyes.
Yes.
And that's what's important, especially if you're shooting sports like hockey, where you have to get, what do they say, from skates to helmet, or skates to eyes, laces to eyes is what it is. Brian Watts tries to teach me some hockey stuff, and my brain doesn't absorb well. So I can't remember exactly what that was, but yeah, basically that's what's acceptable. If you have the shoes and if you have the eyes, that's telling the story. And of course, that motion of him rolling the ball, to me, it implies motion. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Charity, for submitting for the challenge this week. And here is Robert's. All right, Gabriel, you start this one.
I like this one. I like the. It's a good panning shot. Panning shots are hard to get. This one is a little bit harder to get than normal because not only is the person moving from left to right, but it looks like they're also moving away. So you've got a couple degrees, a few different axes to deal with. You can tell that he was panning. Can you click on photo details? if you don't mind. 1/15th of a second. So like the streaks on the leaves are rather long, so you can see there was a bit of a slow pan. But everything else, at least on my screen, everything on the biker looks pretty sharp. So that's, I like that too. My only criticism I would do with this is, one, I mean, it's usually the opportunity that you get, right? But one, it's better if they're coming towards the camera, and if they're not, he's a little bit far to the left, like composed far to the left. So it feels like he's just kind of going right out of the frame, right? So I'd like to see a little bit more to the right, but
like he's coming into the frame.
Yeah, exactly. But I know that this is probably just walking down at the local park, and you kind of shoot what's available. And for the theme, right? It's perfectly executed for the theme, and it's a rather challenging shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I'm panning shots to get it perfectly sharp, like the person or the subject, you have to time it perfectly the way your shutter is and how quickly you're panning along with them. You have to time your speed to match theirs, pretty much, to make sure that you're stopping their motion but still having the background blurred. So that was kind of fun to try different settings, and it usually takes a couple attempts to get a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oops. Wow.
Well, actually, I spoke to Robert
so
about this.
fired.
So Robert and I had a conversation about this shot. He first showed it to me, and I agree with Jennifer. Jennifer says that this one's awesome. It fits the sharp motion theme perfectly. Very good job, Robert. And I told him how I felt about the shot. And that's why I let other people speak before me on this one, because Gabriel mentioned how, framing-wise, having the rider on the left leading into the shot is going to give you more of a story. You're seeing where he's coming from. And I mentioned that to Robert, and he showed me the original image, which had a person in front of the biker, like the biker was just about to pass a person.
Mm.
So the person was really blurry. And then behind was, what we see here. And then there was a bridge ahead. And I suggested even leave the blurry person in the shot, so you have this still biker with a blurry person, and then cut off at the back so he's leading past it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with both of these choices. I think the shot that he submitted is great. I like the processing he did to it. It's very bold, nice bright color, and I always appreciate bright color because of that, red-green thing that I got. So it really helps me get the vibe and the feel from it. I like the sun coming through the trees.
The lighting is great.
On the back. Oh, the lighting is fantastic. Jennifer says she likes the rider on the left because it's like he's going so fast he's leaving the image. I agree that the type of photo has you feeling the speed, and that's the panning technique that does that. But I'm still going to hold that having him on the right side with space in front would give a little bit more power, a little bit more energy to the action of him moving. However, having seen the original, I think Robert made the right choice on the crop, and I think it's a really great shot either way. And there's a story because the rider got off his bike and beat Robert up for taking the photo. He literally walked up to Robert and punched him in the face.
That's too bad.
It's actually not true. But he did get off and say, "What are you taking my picture for?" And Robert explained that it's for a photo challenge, and the guy's like, "Well, as long as my face isn't shown, that's fine." And there it is. So
actually?
Backstory. Yeah, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, but he didn't punch Robert.
Really?
Robert would have kicked his butt. Robert's a stud.
So you'd rather have a picture of his ass hanging out?
Apparently, yes.
Good.
Wow. In situations like that where, on one hand you're like, okay, fine, I'm glad that you're okay with it, we're being civil to each other. But on the other hand, I don't give it doesn't matter, blah, 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 what you want. This is a public area. You have no expectation of privacy, and legally I'm allowed to take a picture of anything that I want. So it's like, you of course don't want to say anything that aggressive, right? But people also need to understand that there is no expectation of privacy in public, and if a photographer wants to take a picture of them, they have every legal right to take a picture of them. So
there is that.
But
In the same breath, if the person says, "Don't take my picture," then humankind should be okay.
No, then you say, "Oh, I wasn't taking your picture. I was taking a picture of those leaves behind you."
Robert says he's got the black guy to prove it.
Well, Robert, you don't put your camera to your face like this. You just hold it.
I can't see you, Navi. You're doing screen share still.
I feel like if I keep jamming it to my face, I'll see it better. I'll get new contacts with new prescription. Anyway.
No, I mean, it's a bigger conversation, but if I take a picture of somebody and somebody's like, "Hey, delete that picture," most of the time I'll just say no, or I'll say, "Well, okay, fine, I'll delete it, but it's already uploaded to the cloud."
Oh, geez.
So
to 4 different places.
But I mean, you don't want to be aggressive or a total DICK about it, but people also need to understand that you are in public. The Google Street View car is driving around, the Bing car is driving around, the Apple car is driving around, satellites are flying around. You just walk in the store, you get your picture taken 75 times. You have no expectation to privacy in public. If you're going to go in public, you are allowing yourself to be photographed and videoed. And if somebody's out there taking pictures, they have every right to take a picture of anything that they want. So.
Absolutely. Rights are rights. You're absolutely right about that. Julie just checked in, and she's watching the show now, and she says she's just catching up. We had a question about the location of her photo. She actually saves all of her Daytripper challenges in one album. So the other photos that we saw, the dog and so on, those are from previous Daytripper challenges. So that's why one album with all the photos, that's stuff that we're allowed to see, which is good. Good to know.
Cool.
All right, Mark. Mark is actually, I'm very happy that Mark's submitting photos. Mark, the first time I think he was on our session, any of our sessions, was our Fire on Ice session, the spin-off, where he built that awesome contraption with like the crazy spinning thing and spinning things all over the place. It's awesome. So Mark has been submitted photos now, and I love the stuff. However, popcorn, great shot. I love that you've got all these popcorn stopped in midair. And I'm curious, and this is where the however came from, about the color cast that we see. Is it that color because you think that it adds to the popcorn color, or is that just a white balance thing? Because I'm not quite sure. It's reading like it's supposed to be an old photo. Do you guys get that same kind of vibe from it?
Yes.
It makes me think about being in the movies, because those popcorn machines are kind of have that yellow light.
Yeah.
And the glass on the front usually has sort of a yellow tinge to it after being stained by all the butter.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. That's what I was wondering. Like, is it a white balance thing, or is it just that's going for that look? And it must just be going for that look. But it's a great idea.
Maybe it's just a point or two on the heavy side.
Okay.
Maybe if it was just dialed back, a tiny little bit, it would still give the popcorn feel without the question of is it a white balance issue?
Gotcha. Well, I think it's a great shot regardless. And Jen kind of hits it as well, and she says that she thinks it reminds her of the lighting of an old movie theater, which has to be what Mark was going for. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
As far as sorry, go ahead.
So you go ahead. I think you were going to hit on what I was just about to hit on.
Well, I just think that it's excellent, the choices that he made here. The popcorn sitting in, the popcorn container sitting in the popcorn. Mm-hmm. So that's giving it a ground. It's putting a base on the bottom of the photo, giving it weight. The popcorn falling down from the top. It looks like somebody has this thing, and they're literally pouring popcorn. It's just bouncing all over the place. And you actually see some of the motion kind of coming from the popcorn. However, it's not tack sharp.
Right.
And is that just my screen, or is that...
You see, that's what I'm wondering. I'm viewing it. Okay, you know what? Actually,
let me... The focus is here.
It is. Okay.
Right.
Just behind the front of the box and the front popcorn. So yeah, this is, I think, the sharpest popcorn.
I think you're right. Yeah. So then my thought would be, it's shooting at f4 with a 50mm lens. I'm thinking it's just a fixed 50, or it's a lens zoomed to 50. 1600 ISO to get 1/4000th of a second. Now this is something I don't think you needed a 4,000th of a second.
Probably 1,000 sort of done.
Exactly, and if you had stopped your aperture down to f8, you would have had about 1,000th of a second shutter speed, and that would have been giving you more depth, so focus would have been easier to work with, and you would have had a little bit more depth, so the front pieces and the back pieces would have had a little bit more sharpness to it. What do you guys, Navi, anything else to add?
No, just the focus was what caught my eye at first. Just that, because we kind of go, I sort of naturally go to the front or the closest object to the front of the photo, but the focus is a little bit missed there. So.
Well, I think
I like the concept.
The concept is great, and simply the word popcorn should be sharp.
Yes.
Because that's the story, right?
Or even just like the front pieces of the popcorn here too. But yeah, you're stopped down to 5, 6, or probably f8, f7. You could get the box and the front popcorn there.
Just a little bit more, but you probably still would have some blur on the pieces of popcorn on the ground, which I really think work for the shot. You don't want to be staring at all that. You just want that to be a border. Yeah,
this I think would look not as good if it was just this box and the popcorn, as opposed to having all this around it.
Right.
Of course, how many takes do you want to make of this photo? It's not exactly the photo you want to do 12 times.
It would be easier to do than the milk ones.
Yes.
That's
you just grab another handful and drop it down. I'm sure there's a couple aspects that I'm not thinking about, but
what do you mean drop it down? I thought they were all on fish line, just hanging there.
Suspended.
Hey, knowing Mark, that is entirely possible.
It's a reverse vacuum underneath, and it's blowing all the popcorn
That's
up.
It. Actually, I was just going to make a suggestion. He's using a Nikon D7100 with a little off-camera flash. You could do a lot of magical stuff with a shot like this. Fire it from the pop-up flash, use the creative lighting system, bring it off from the side, have it kick that popcorn from the side. There's so many things you can do as well when you start getting into off-camera flash. And the D7100 is an amazing camera for getting into off-camera flash. So there's something else to think about. By the way, Gabriel, Julie says thanks for the tip.
It's so gross.
Which one? Gave on their photo.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
And Michelle just joined us. She says, sorry she's late. She does have a question that ties into what you're allowed to photograph that we were talking about a few seconds ago. She lives near the airport, and she was under the impression that after 9/11, shooting planes, especially with a long lens, was frowned upon. But notice folks doing it a lot now.
Shooting planes with a long barrel is frowned upon, but with a long lens, no. There's absolutely nothing illegal about shooting airplanes with zoom lenses or anything like that. Now, as long as you're on public property, right? But we've gone down a few times and shot airplanes taking off and landing, and some establishments there will let you park your car and hang out during the day. There's a few strip clubs there. They'll let you because they're not busy during the day, right? So they don't care if you take up their parking lot. Sorry?
Gabriel would know.
Well, we go down, we set up, right? And I mean they don't care because they're not busy at all during the day, so their parking lot is empty. Sit there, take all the pictures that you want, and it's
now,
there's nothing illegal about that.
It's not always as easy as that. It's not always as easy as that. During the G20, when the G20 was in Toronto, G8, G20, the G, with all the people. Diplomats and stuff. Come on,
right, and they implemented temporary laws that turned out to be kind of illegal, and that every single, from what I understand, every person that they arrested under those temporary laws were released without charge.
It's not so much just being arrested, though. Like I literally, during that period of time, happened to have a car by the airport, and my camera was with me, so I pulled over to take a picture. Before I even closed the door of the car, the police had pulled over and asked what I was doing, And when I looked out into the field where the airport was, there were people in full SWAT gear. I mean, it was
Right.
heavy.
That doesn't
security.
mean that what you were doing was technically illegal. That doesn't
No,
mean
and I
that they
wasn't.
could have arrested you for it or anything like that. I mean, I've been harassed by security guards taking pictures of buildings downtown, and you can literally, you never would because photographers are kind, gentle people, but you can literally just flip them the bird and keep on shooting because you're not actually breaking the law. If you're on public property, you can take pictures of anything that you want.
That's right. And I was literally just asked what I was doing and told, please not during this time because of what's going on, and everything was fine. So it's not like I was even under the threat of being arrested. It was just be aware of the political situation of the day and, just be smart about it, and you shouldn't have any issues. There's always the exception to the rule where you get somebody who freaks out because of the law, but it's pretty rare.
Well, and a lot of, if you are out shooting, and you're shooting, say, downtown, you're going to get a lot of security guards that come up that don't know the law. There's some websites, and if I can find the links, I'll post up the links that show the photographer's rights in Canada. And if you want, just put a copy of that in your backpack. And when a security guard comes out and starts saying you're not allowed to take pictures of private property, and this is the distinction: you can take pictures of private property if you're standing on public property. Right, and some buildings, their property line goes out further than others. So if a security guard comes up and says, well, our property actually goes to that line there, step on the other side of the line, and you can do whatever you want. But technically, if you are on their property, you do have to adhere to their laws. But if you're on public fruit fly, if you're on public property, you're on public property. You can shoot whatever you want, and be respectful. Don't throw out a tripod and all your gear and stuff and block the flow of traffic, because then they can get you for blocking the flow of traffic or like the traffic on the sidewalk. But you're allowed to take any pictures that you want.
And ultimately, they're going to ask you to move before they arrest you. So it's never really a condition that if you just start taking pictures, you're in trouble. If you start taking pictures, you might get talked to, and then you can go about your day.
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome for answering your question, Michelle. Thank you for asking it. So just for the record, guys, my favorite photo that I've shot pretty much all year is of Michelle, who just asked this question. So it's pretty cool. When I was shooting wrestling, she was there, helped out. I got a great photo of her. It was awesome. That's a different conversation for another day. I sidetracked. Squirrel. We haven't squirreled in a while.
No.
Got to get the squirreling back in action. More squirrel.
We're all in a sushi coma right now, so our squirreling is limited.
Well, some of us are. Some of us are probably exercising or something.
I can hear, just a nice calm thump, thump, thump. That's me jogging.
Okay, you just keep it up. You got sushi to work off. Okay, so let's look at Lori's photo here. The snail. I love this. The fastest snail. Okay, so first of all, backstory here. Lori posted this photo in another link somewhere. She said the fastest snail in Schaumburg. And I thought I was being funny, and it might have come off as a bit of a dick move, but I posted fastest rocks too, apparently, because it wasn't just the snail with the streak.
You're legging out.
She streaked everything from like the civilian. So thank you very much, Lori. I think it really changes the photo completely when it's just the snail that's blurring. Would you guys agree?
Yes. Come here.
Gabriel, what's happening here?
Am I legging out or are you legging out?
Brian is.
Brian's legging out, okay.
Am I lagging?
Yeah, you were legging out just a little bit. You went all Cylon on us. So you're like, it's not just the fastest...
Oh. You a point. Talking super slow-mo.
Hey, we should play a video. We should play a game on the show tonight. That's great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, like bingo or something.
Oh, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Okay, so, yeah, basically what I was saying is having the blur, the streak, the motion created by the snail separate from the ground gives the snail motion, and the ground is nice and static. So, great job. I love the interpretation of the theme. Sharp motion, use a snail, right? Freaking brilliant. What do you think, Gabe?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a great standalone picture of the snail. Right, the detail is fantastic. I like it going over the rock and everything. It's a great picture of the snail on its own, and then adding that streak to make it go with the theme. Just enhanced it. It's great.
Cool stuff. It's not easy getting a nice clear shot with a macro.
There's so much detail. It's a great photo.
Yeah.
It grosses me out.
Yeah, Julie knows what. Lori knows what she's doing with this macro because f14. I mean, she's closed it right down so that you have some depth, and that's why you see so much detail on the snail. And I know, Navi, you didn't like the look of the snail, did you?
Yeah, no, bugs gross me out, but it's a great photo.
Is the snail a bug?
Sure.
Uh,
Bug.
Is it? It's a creepy crawler, but I don't know if it's a bug. Doesn't matter. It's a very cool photo. So this is something, actually, a really interesting point. Can you click on that again, please?
Yes.
This is a Nikon D610. Zoom in for me as much as you can, Navi.
Ugh. Gross.
It's still clear. That's 6400 ISO.
Wow. Yuck.
I know, right? So there's some cameras out there where 6400 ISO can look that good, aside from it being,
That's zoomed in
slimy.
quite a bit, too.
Yeah. So excellent job. Love the shot, Lori. Well done.
Pulmonate gastropod mollusks
Sounds about right.
is the category that snails fall into.
I think your pronunciation was perfect, too.
I think so as well.
Michelle's with you, Navi. Bug or whatever. She doesn't like it.
Yeah, imagine
Michelle.
seeing that picture on your 27-inch iMac.
Oh, no. Could be fun. All right, Mark, here's another photo. Sharp motion, one more shot from Mark. This looks like a very tough shot to make.
Yeah.
I mean, to get down, obviously you're laying on the ground for this, and there has to be somebody playing golf. And how many takes would it take? I mean, you're just sitting there hitting golf balls until you get the right one. Very tough stuff to do. And I love the color. I love the saturation that you gave it. The ball is nice and sharp. And the shallow depth of field, I mean, this was, again, shot with a 50 mil, one of my favorite lenses on Earth. Shot at f1.8. And here's where having a camera that can do ultra-fast shutter speeds comes in handy. So what I mean by this is there's some cameras that only go to 1/4000th of a second shutter speed. The D7100 goes to 1/8000th of a second. So if you want this ultra-shallow depth of field by using a 50 mil at f1.8, at 100 ISO, it may peak faster than 4,000th of a second. In this case, it did. It's 1/8000th of a second photo here. So to get the shutter speed that Mark needed, if he had a camera that didn't go to 8,000th of a second, he wouldn't have been able to have the same kind of results. He would have to shot at maybe f5.6 instead of f1.8, therefore not have the same depth, shallow depth of field. There would have been more depth to the image. So, there's all these things that are important to think about. So it's always good to have the right tool. Oh. So Jennifer's going to be happy shortly because Dixie just came in the room. Ugh. That makes one of us. Oh, she's so cute. Okay. All right, so let's move along. Excellent. Anything else to add on this one here, Navi?
I like the perspective. I didn't really think about that, Brian, until you mentioned him being pretty low to get the shot.
Mm.
So I like that it's sort of on an even sort of with the eye. I'm trying to catch my breath.
Still working out?
Yep, still jogging. Another 1,500 steps.
I'm not even going to attempt to make mine today. I'm too far away.
Actually, Mark, he says, sorry to answer late. He was on his iPad, which won't let him comment. He doesn't have a creative light setup yet. The popcorn shot was done with natural daylight, so I had to keep the aperture open and pull up enough light. I was going for the old-timey look. Well, that makes sense. So, yeah, he was going for that yellowish old-time look. And, sorry, Jen, Dixie took off again. She's like that, she's a cat. She does things. Just disappears. And then Michelle says she tried a shot like that once, had no luck, and my brother's arms almost fell off while he was trying. So kudos to Mark for making that golf shot. Absolutely agree.
Did I ever tell you that earthquake, that actual earthquake textbook, the quote about cats?
No.
It says, it's in a textbook in some college or university or something like that, and it says, many experts have theorized that animals can feel earthquakes before humans, and many cats have been known to get up and run out of the room, sometimes minutes before an earthquake hits. But of course, cats would never tell humans because they're assholes.
That is so funny because it's true. All right. So, Mark says that it was a tough shot. Hallie was swinging. We probably did 60-plus tries to get the ball in the frame.
Wow.
Holy cow. Good for you. Good for you. Good effort on you. All right. Next photo. Oh, wait. Hang on. Before we get to the next photo,
Yep.
I have to just say, here's Dixie.
Oh,
I know. She's so over me.
I'm
She's
so happy to be there.
She used to like me a lot, and then once she got to know me, she just doesn't like me anymore. So it's all right. I enticed her into the room by using this. This is the Miraculous Dixie toy.
Look at that face. Dixie looks funny with whiskers. You know, if you ever actually look at a cat and focus on their whiskers, they look so strange with whiskers.
Well, she has them. Most cats do. And it's the mouth that always gets me.
Oh my god.
I know. We're spending totally swirling here on my cat. I'm sorry.
We're catting.
Catting. Dixie. All right. So, sorry. Sidetrack much. Stephen Morley's photo. All right, Dixie. I'm so distracted now. I'm totally distracted. Navi, why don't you start talking about Stephen's photo?
I really enjoyed this photo.
Mm-hmm.
The contrast, the sharpness is great, but you can still get that sense of motion from that ball. And I guess we never found out what it's actually called, but the polo ball stick?
Polo stick.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we never did
Polo
find out
stick?
what that was.
Sure. I really like that you can still see the motion and obviously the legs of the horse.
Mallet.
This are great, and the sharpness is really nice.
It's called polo mallet.
Mallet.
Long-handled mallet, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, look at that. Learned something new. Yeah, I really like the composition of this because it's leading into the frame, but you still have a lot of the story with the other players behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Great shot.
Excellent. Okay, now here's a good example. What is the shutter speed on this photo?
1/800th.
So 1/800th of a second gave that much sharpness to that fast of motion. So it really helps us understand that 4,000th or sometimes even 8,000th of a second isn't necessary, right? Stephen did a great job on this image. I love the detail on the horse, the concentration on the rider's face. I'm surprised this year, unfortunately, Ross couldn't make it to the Polo for Heart thing because he always goes. Ross loves shooting polo. And it's not an easy thing to do, so when you have that challenge, it really does keep your interest a lot more. And I think Stephen did a great job shooting this. Anything else to add, Gabe?
No, it's I think something like that. It's 90% skill, 10% luck, because it's not like you can run down the track with them and hope that while you're running down something exciting happens. You're pretty much static in one spot, and it's all about it's kind of like shooting a wedding. It's about being 100% attentive all the time, so that when that thing does happen, you're there to capture it, right? So it's probably in his spot and was ready with all the settings and everything like that, and was able to capture this happening right in front of him. So that was great.
Absolutely agreed. Very cool. Anything else to add, Navi?
Nope.
All right. Well, I don't think we're getting any comments in about it, so let's move along. Have a look at the next shot. Before we do that, though, Dixie shot. Dixie. All right. And yes, Jennifer, yet another good thing that the lens pen tools are handy for. She's trying to take the whole thing. All right, I'm going to get shot on this episode, so say something, Dixie. No? All right. Moving along. What do we have up here, Navi? This is another shot from Andrew. All right, so this is a much better perspective. You're getting nice and low. It looks like he's sliding into third base here, or something. One of the bases. And it's a tough shot. When you have somebody sliding into base, it's a really tough shot to capture, especially straight on like that is. Usually going from side to side, you get a little different result. But straight on, not quite the same. What do you think of that, Navi?
I like the expression on the player's face.
Yeah, trying to block the plate.
Yeah, he's really shows that he's trying, and there's some action happening there.
Mm-hmm. Can you hit photo details, please?
Sure can. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Mine was starting to get all jealous.
Two cats.
Why is this one have that I don't have? I got all that. There you go, Ryan. Thank you very much. You were wonderful.
Oh.
I love that you went and looked for your cat.
Your cat's not all that.
Hey, all I gotta do is sit here and squeeze my ball a couple times.
What?
You heard me. Squeeze my... Oh, blower. I guess I should say blower.
Oh, that. That's what they're calling
yes.
it. Disgusting. It's a family show.
We have 0 viewers now. Everybody left. All right. So sorry about that, Andrew. We should get back to your photo. Gabe has a cat, Jennifer. Yes, he does have a cat. He just doesn't like his cat.
It's not that I don't like it. I just,
dislike it.
Yeah.
I have to admit that my cat is more part family than cat, and that's generally how I kind of see my critters. So, I mean, the last cat we had was 22 years old when she passed away. So 24.
Yeah. Ryan's 18.
Yes. Well, there she goes. I'm 18. The cat is... Anyway, that's a whole... shut up.
So photo.
Oh. Stan says his rat is watching.
Oh.
Stan has a rat. So does Mark Flinders has a rat.
They should meet.
Apparently they're good pets.
Yeah, rats are good pets.
And no, Jennifer, Dixie, and Gabe's cat Orion do not Skype each other.
God.
It's not going to happen.
Your cat's Orion?
Orion, yeah.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Like the constellation.
The galaxy is on Orion's belt.
Yes. No, you can't do that. I sit on a yoga ball. You're going to pop my ball. Okay, sorry, I'm back.
This show is taking a serious turn. Okay, so is this the last image, Navi?
There's one more.
One more. All right, so excellent shot. Again, Andrew, thank you for submitting. And anything we can give as constructive critique for this, guys? I think he's got the player going in the right direction, having the play on the left side of the frame with the fence cut off at the top borders it really nicely. There is still some motion in the dirt, which is really good to see. Yeah, this is definitely sharp motion. Out at the plate. Oh, it's home plate. Or maybe it's different plate. Whatever. All right. Let's check out the next shot, unless you guys have anything else to add.
No, it's you got the expression. It's perfect timing. Yeah, you got the motion. You got the sharpness. It's wonderfully captured.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
All right.
This one.
What's that?
I was reading the comment for this last one. Please, catch light in the horse's eye. Whoa.
That is such an important thing as well. As we always say, when you're taking a photo of an animal or person, the eye is the most important thing. And for Liz to think ahead and say she got the catch light in the horse's eye, that tells quite a bit about how Liz's photography is going for her. She's paying a lot of attention to the details, and I think this is a great shot. Beautiful action, and you can see it's exactly what we've been talking about all this time. When there's motion in the photo, you have the horse leading into the photo. So the horse is on the left, and there's space in front of it on the right. You can tell it's leading in. And I love the expressions on the crowd in the background. You can see people are paying quite a close attention to what's going on. Great sharpness in the horse. Focus is where it should be. Excellent choices.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add,
Cosine.
Nat? Cosine.
No.
All right, and this is the ladies barrel racing, I think she said. Almost to the finish line. Ladies barrel racing in Milverton Rodeo. For those of you who are interested in shooting a rodeo, I believe it is July the 11th. There's the Orangeville Rodeo. Dodge Ram presents, I believe, the Orangeville Rodeo. That's going to be something that a bunch of us are going to be going to shoot. I can't wait for it. It should be a lot of fun. All right.
Do they still do the Abarquet in Newmarket?
What?
The Abarquet rodeo?
I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's have a look at. Well, that's the last photo, isn't it?
Yep.
So we have to pick a winner now, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're torn.
We are torn. There's an inner battle going on within the Daytripper Photo higher ranks.
And we are very rare to change our opinions on winners. So I have an idea, guys. I want to give 3 lens pens away today because there's 3 pictures that I think should get one.
Okay.
You guys each picked one, and I picked a separate one. So we're going to go with, for first place, we're going to go with, and I guess we need some sound effects.
Ah,
Don't we?
flirt. Yes, no,
Sure, let's
we
just make it much
absolutely do need some
more
sound
fun.
effects. Oh,
So
no.
much
Getting ahead of myself.
Oh, wow. Stephen Morley for his photo, the polo horse for sharpness. Okay, and first place also goes to...
Wait, now I'm just confused.
Whoever's doing that, you're fired too.
I'm sorry. Goes to Mark Moore for his photo of
What? Hold on. Oh, this one.
There it is. That's right.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Well done to both of you guys. And of course, the third place prize goes to... Actually, not third place. It's first place again.
The third first place.
The third first place one goes to Robert Schindelheim for his biker in panning motion. Because it's not easy to do, and it's really well done. And you know, we can give all these opinions of composition and this and that. The bottom line is, I appreciate the effort from everybody tonight making these photos. From Julie and Jody with their milk splashes, which is so fun to do and not always easy to get the results you're looking for. For Lori with her picture of the biker with this long exposure. To Andrew with the baseball photos, and just you all did a great job, and I really, really appreciate the effort that everybody put into the photos this week. So thank you very much to everybody watching, and of course,
Great submission.
Mark, Stephen, and Robert, make sure you see me at the store at Henry's to pick up your prizes. Next time you're by, or your prize, I should say, you will each get the lens pen, tablet, and cleaner. Cha-ching. Cool. Okay, so we have a pretty cool thing coming up here in Canada. It happens once a year, and it usually happens on July 1st. In fact, it always happens on July 1st. It's called Canada Day, and that's when everybody gets fireworks and goes out there and blows stuff up. So we're going to encourage people to make photos for the next photo challenge. You have 2 weeks to do this, but you only need 1 day. See how I did there?
We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. So the theme for the next 2 weeks photo challenge is fireworks. Now, that being said, July 1st falls on a Wednesday, and you're not going to catch us doing a show on Canada Day. So everybody enjoy your Canada Day. We are off next week, and I hope everybody has a great time. What are you all doing for Canada Day, July 1st specifically? Gabe?
I have no idea. Apparently we have something planned, but Trish hasn't informed me as to what it is yet. Probably barbecue to friends.
Oh, that's always fun. Cool. Nadia, what are you up to this Canada Day?
No idea, but apparently Trish has been playing, so probably barbecue to friends.
Oh, well, apparently I know who I'm barbecuing with now.
Brilliant. Well, I have actually really cool plans. I am shooting up in Barrie. Well, it's actually in Aurelia. Barrie Wrestling is doing an outdoor wrestling event on Canada Day, a big Canada Day bash, and it's going to be outdoor wrestling. It's right by the water. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully get some cool shots and have a lot of fun doing stuff. Might even sell some pictures. Hey, you want to see something neat? Here's a shot that I printed. Don't print too often, so here, let me take it out of there. This is on metallic paper.
Oh, nice. Ooh, that metallic is
Ooh,
rocking.
I want to see that in person.
Yeah, it is actually a really cool print.
Neat.
So I'll be printing a bunch of these up and selling them at Barrie Wrestling, whether it's at this Canada Day one or one future later on. But yeah, these guys were amazing to pose for me and to do this. It was just a great time making that photo. And Michelle helped me quite a bit with that shot too. She held the flash in the background, so that was really cool. I did want to do a quick screen share before we said goodnight because we were talking about it. My picture for Sharp Motion is this. This was taken at the fair when it was in town.
Oh,
and
cool.
It was using flash and slow shutter speeds.
Cool.
So the slow shutter speed with the lights caused all the motion, and then my flash was able to hit the riders to make them nice and sharp. I think it's just funny that before they start this ride, a lot of them take their shoes off so that they don't like kill people with their shoes. So there's people with bare feet and people looking all over the place. I think this guy here on the far right, he looks like he's going to throw up. That's cool. So yeah, that was fun. And one last photo to share is my picture of Dixie.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wasn't ready for that.
I wasn't ready for that.
Got to stay on your toes for this guy. It's awesome. I love how sharp it is inside of her mouth. And you always say make the eyes in focus. But I swear, this cat has a budgie beak. And the way her teeth grow in the front, it's like, I think it's called a parrot mouth or something. But it's a really funny front mouth. And I always think it's interesting to capture like that. All right.
Very well, then.
Very well, very well. Fun stuff. So everybody, remember, next photo challenge is fireworks. Get out there and make your fireworks photos. And if you haven't registered yet for the barbecue and fireworks session on June 30th, Tuesday night, Navi.
Yes, Tuesday night.
Please do so. It's only $200. You get food. You get a whole hour of pre-class. Then you have 3 hours of actually shooting fireworks with more than 100 fireworks that we're launching. $1,500 worth of fireworks or more. I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of cool stuff that we're going to be doing that night. And we're teaching zoom blur. We're teaching focus blur. We're teaching the hat trick. And if you don't know what the hat trick is, then make sure you figure it out because it's one of the coolest techniques you're going to have for shooting fireworks or any long exposure techniques. And we're covering it all at the fireworks session. So www.daytripperphoto.com and check it out. All right, anything else to say or say goodnight or do anything like that, Navi? And where can people get a hold of you to hire you for your awesomeness? At
www.nav as in Victor, Y as in yellow, NHUM.com.
Navinum.com.
There it is.
Cool. There it is. All right, and Gabriel, sir, how can folks get a hold of you?
Well, I would spell my name out the same way that Navi did, but it's a lot of letters. So just Bousquet Photography. Bousquet is Bousquet, like bouquet, but with an S. BousquetPhotography.ca.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, guys, for being on the show this week and for making it fun, as always, and for helping with all the critique and your great advice. You guys are amazing. And if you haven't heard, there's also going to be a Daytripper Photo Expo, September 19th and 20th. Tickets are on sale already. You can buy your all-access multipass, which gets you into every session, all the days, all the 2 days, plus an evening beforehand. or you can buy a single day pass. It's only $150 right now for the single day pass until August 1st. Then it goes to $200, and the entire weekend is only $250. $250 for more than 40 classes. And Stan, thank you very much for watching. You have a good night too. And Stan is actually the boudoir instructor at the expo, so that'll be a great session as well. There's sessions like crazy on all different types of stuff. So check it all out, www.daytripperphoto.com. Thank you, everybody. Have yourselves a great couple of weeks. We'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye.